This is the RoguesCast. Today I'm going to be introducing to you guys some of the people who bring a lot of the sim content, as well as just rogue content creators and people like Apoc and myself who were just high-performing rogues. So we'll start off. I think everyone in the community knows, but this is Simonized, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself. The Hat Man himself.
Hello. I used to kind of be the simulator and the spreadsheet guy, and I kind of moved away from that. I'm approaching Mists of Pandaria a bit more casually, just kind of being like, is it higher item level? I'll equip it. Sure. Fine. Good enough. And I'm having a lot of fun. And, we were doing the monkey runs earlier with the legendary daggers, and I got them going without the legendary daggers today, too. And I've been playing Death Knight and Monk, and I'll probably be playing a little bit of Paladin and Mists of Pandaria, too, having a lot of fun.
Cool. And you guys can find him over on twitch.tv/Simonize Show if you guys haven't checked him out, as well as your YouTube channels. Yep. You have 2 of them, right?
Yeah. Simonize Show on YouTube is the main channel that posts like edited guides, but I haven't really been into that so much, so there's not a lot of content there. But Simonize Show TV has like VOD uploads and stream highlights, which is where most of the activity is for me on YouTube these days.
Okay. You guys obviously know me, so I'll skip my introduction, but we'll move over to Backstabbi. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yep. What's up, everyone? I am Backstabbi. I've been the one maintaining our WoW Sim pages for Cataclysm and now going into MoP. I raid pretty casually in a 10-man. Trying to think. When did we... I don't think we got our heroic Deathwing kill until 15 or 20%. So that's about what I'm talking about when I say casually. But yeah, I focus a lot on the theoretical side of things, just because I don't get to actually do the practical stuff too much. Trying to just help people that actually perform better than me perform even better than me.
And bless your heart. For everyone that doesn't already know Backstabbi, who's watching my stream or is in my Discord, Backstabbi is the lead for the rogue side of the WoW Sims website, which is a very big undertaking. So if any of you guys play rogue and you guys support his work, you guys should show him a ton of love, because he does a lot of work for our class. So, big thank you to for all of the work that you're doing, especially leading up to MoP, because this was kind of insane. Implementing all the random stuff that we had to go through before the X-Pack came out was a lot of work. So, the next person I'll introduce is Anhak. Anhak, go ahead and talk about yourself.
Not very good about that part. Hello, I am Anhak. I just basically run a sheet that helps people with gearing. Did that in SOD 2. Just like helping people get understand why you're making gear decisions and what makes things go burr.
Okay. And for anyone who wants a link to his sheet, those links are all in my Discord. They show you all of the top theoretical DPS that you can do in all of Phase 1. I imagine you'll be releasing the later phases as we have active sims for those.
Yeah, I actually have Phase 2 on there too, which is roughly a 10% increase on whatever your Phase 1 is.
Cool.
Because it's just going to be the 8i levels.
Okay, cool. All right. So all of the best, highest theoretical DPS that you can do for each spec, those are all in spreadsheets on my Discord, as well as, I imagine, Simon's as well, and the Classic Rogue Discord as well. So if you guys haven't checked out those sheets, you guys definitely should. You could learn a lot from those sheets. And our last guest, which is Apoc.
Hi, I'm Apoc. I've been a progression raider for Welcome since Wrath of the Lich King. I try to use all the information presented by Sqwurrelly, Simon, all these great content creators who put out amazing information for the game, and I try to implement it and do the best I can with it and execute. Don't always do it perfectly, but we give it our best shot.
Cool. All right, and a big rip to Warstry, who wanted to be here, but he could not because he is gearing up for the Race to World First, so he was hard-lined into Raid Prog tonight, but... with that being said, I wanted to kind of jump into the topics. I wanted to ask you guys, Have you guys all leveled a rogue yet, or are you guys playing different classes this expansion?
Yeah, I started with rogue. I got my rogue up to 90. I just got 90 on my monk, and I'm putting work in on the Death Knight, and I've got the second rogue up to 86.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, for myself, I already have. I was saving my third rogue to be level 90 for stream today, but I have two level 90 rogues. My third rogue is 90% of the way through level 89, and I'll probably be leveling a fourth one. So I've definitely, obviously, played rogue for the start of the expansion. I may be hoping to branch out and play monk a little bit because monk seems like a ton of fun. I don't know how good Windwalker is, and because I'm more on like the competitive side of things, I might skip out on Windwalker, but if it's even half decent, I would love to play it this expansion. How about you, Backstabbi?
Yeah, so I've definitely just been focusing on a single character. That's a benefit of, raiding casually is I don't need a bunch of alts. I do have two other rogues prepared at 85, plus some other stuff that I will probably play later. But right now I've been entirely focused on just having this one rogue and gearing it out and having professions up. I sold the first leatherworking chest piece on Fairlena, fleeced a guy for 80k.
That was yours?
That's definitely,
That's pretty good.
Oh my
worth it.
god,
He's the reason
dude.
they're AKE.
I was gonna
He's the reason.
say.
I
Wait,
looked
saw
in the
those
auction
up.
house and I'm like, there's none. What do I post it at? 80k sounds good.
wait. So my question is, did you have the peace pipe? Because that came out before all the other ones.
I bought one from Just Woo. He pinged me. I'm like,
No way, dude. No way.
he
Okay.
fucking
got him.
at me in the Discord and it's just like, he's like, hey, easy 22k. And I'm like, hey, easy 80k. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I saw some of those Gray Shadow items up on Benediction's auction house for around 100k each.
Yeah.
Roughly about that much.
That first day, I was sitting there and I was like, wait, dude. I was like, I got 90 like 14 hours after launch and I'm not honored. I was like, how are people doing this? And then a bunch of people in my chat told me that peace pipe existed and I was like, oh, that's crazy. I was like, that's absolutely crazy. What about you, Anhak? Are you I assume you're also leveling rogues, or are you just kind of playing casually this expansion?
Yeah, so I only have one rogue. In our alt raid, because we just have a main raid and alt raid. We don't prep any alts for my guild for like main raid situation.
Mm-hmm.
So alt raid starts like 2 weeks after. So my alt's like 86. Not really concerned about it. Truthfully, it'll happen. But just focused on the rogue right now.
I envy you guys playing the game casually, if I'm being honest. I envy you so badly. I have streamed, and that's not even including how much time I've played. I have streamed over 100 hours of WoW this week, just gearing the rogue. And I think I've played over 120. I have not left my computer outside of sleeping for the last entire week. It's been kind of miserable. What about you, Apoc? How many rogues you got, dude? I know you got a ton already, right?
No, I'm for being in a pretty competitive guild, I try to keep it pretty casual. I just got one rogue and one red at level 90.
What,
I might
dude?
be
So it's
adding a
only
few
me?
more. They don't want me dual maining. They don't want me using the same
sure.
class.
Okay.
Just they want me to kind of diversify and play other classes.
Yeah.
No, dude, you need
I
your
mean,
bonus from
red-
buckets.
Red is as similar to rogue as it almost gets.
Yeah,
though,
true.
so-
Yeah, they were before we got that 15% buff. My guild was like, "Dude, you might have to play something else." I was like, "I'm literally the rogue guy. Like, please don't make me do that."
Don't do this
I was
to
like,
me.
"Please do not make me play another class." Okay, and what specs did you guys level with?
For me, I leveled most of the way with subtlety and just using hemorrhage out in the open world because I couldn't backstab.
Yeah.
I liked the high amount of combo point generation, so I could do a lot of different finishing moves.
Yeah.
It seemed nice. And then I switched to assassination in the dungeons. When I started trying to do backstabs in dungeons at like max level, it was just miserable because like the tanks would spin the mobs. There's too many mobs. The mobs are like turning to cast spells on people. It was just so miserable trying to do like position behind the mob to do backstab. So I was like, screw this. And then I just went assassination, and I've been having a lot of fun. You know, assassination has felt good in the dungeons.
You've been
took a
enjoying
little while
it?
to get used to the AOE stuff.
Yeah.
Like spreading ruptures and how to do that. But it's been pumping. It's good.
Yeah, so with the first rogue that I leveled, we did kind of like a hybrid because I wanted to level with guildies. So I was doing essentially what we were doing with the monkey runs, but we were questing in between when the queues started getting messed up. So I did like a bit of a hybrid. I did subtlety all the way to 90 on the first rogue, which by the time I got to Dreadwaste kind of felt like a mistake. I'm not going to lie. Doing hemorrhage spam in Dreadwaste did not feel very good. And then on the second rogue, I did assassination all the way up, and assassination also still felt pretty good with the legendary procs for monkey runs. And then assassination with, for those of you that don't know, because of how rupture works, when you kill a mob before rupture falls off of a target, you get whatever energy that you would have gotten from that rupture back after the target dies. So you can kind of just chain kill things with deadly momentum to always keep up recuperate and slice and dice, and then just always kind of keep yourself going. That pace felt amazing when I was leveling, and then I tried assassination in dungeons at 90 after coming off of that for multiple levels, and I was like, dude, I have no energy like ever. I was just like staring at my energy bar for like 3 seconds at a time just to use a single ability. So I swapped back to sub pretty quickly, but I've been doing the same thing on my third rogue. So I've been assassination leveling has been a ton of fun. And honestly, the CT spam was probably the most fun I've ever had leveling in the entire game. I thought monkey runs would get really boring really quick, but when you get that groove going with Night Stalker, sprint, and then burst of speed, and you're always pulling for your tank, like you just feel like you're zooming at 100% all the time. And I was having a blast. We got to MSP, and I hated every second of it. The banishes made me, yeah, the banishes were horrible. What about you, Backstabbi?
Yeah, so I leveled more or less all the way through as assassination. I think I switched to subtlety a couple of times just to have some fun with it because I do prefer the subtlety rotation. It's just dispatch is fun, man.
Dispatch is fun.
Hits so hard.
It does, yeah. Yeah, when I was leveling, it felt like using Envenom was useless almost, because it I feel like it never crits, and Dispatch it feels like it always crits, and so I felt like I did way more damage just spamming Dispatch every single time I could at 35% rather than even spending my combo points. Yeah.
I mean that's something we might get into later, but the way assassination plays simply because of Dispatch existing is kind of weird. But yeah, on the beta, I did level a rogue through questing, but this was before we got our buffs, so it would have been even worse than the way it is now. But I did that as subtlety, and I completely agree. Like, it started off fine, great, even. Then I hit like 88 in late town long steps, and I'm like, I want to die. These mobs take forever just hitting it.
The scaling between town long and like Dreadwaste versus the other zones, I felt like I was two-shotting every mob in Kunlai. And then I got to town long, and I was like, and all of a sudden, everything is literally a meat shield, and I am suffering for it.
Yeah, everything goes from like 270k to 500.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a very big jump.
And Town Long loves doing this thing where it's like, okay, kill 8 small mobs. By the way, there's one really big one with like 3 times the health.
Yeah. Which
like,
feels.
I guess I'll press Shadow Step and Garrote, just put up fine weakness and then auto attack it or something. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I plan to level with the other 2 rogues in different specs. But I strongly suspect that for open world stuff, Assassination's probably just the most consistent. Combat obviously has the benefits of being able to gather things up with Blade Flurry, and that'll be even better as the expansion goes on because there'll be less competition. That'll probably feel pretty good, probably until that same point in Town Long, because then you just get your ass beat.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was pretty smooth overall doing leveling with, crazy heroic Dragon Soul gear.
Yeah. What about you, Anhak? Did you quest? Did you dungeon grind? What was the move for you?
So monkey runs, I ran a sub because I think that when you have legendary daggers, I think that subs AoE is crazy.
Yeah, the
And then as soon
sanguinary
as
veins is just like way
Yeah.
stronger. Yeah.
CT's just hits like a truck for them compared to the other specs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then once we were done with that, I leveled a sin the entire way through and never looked back.
Okay.
And I definitely there were times where I would have 5 combo points and I would send a rupture even though I had like 12 seconds on a rupture ticking, just so I ended the fight with a full energy bar.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
smart.
sweet.
Yeah, I didn't think about that actually. I honestly was usually just very energy starved at the end of all of those. That's a good idea. I'll probably have to do that for Rogue number 4, I fear. So, I'm not out of the weeds yet. So, what about you, Apoc? Did you do monkey runs and what spec were you gaming on?
We did monkey runs. We did a lot of monkey runs, and it was assassination the entire way. I kept it simple. I didn't deviate or test out too much stuff. In between the monkey runs, our launch was really, really rough.
Yeah,
We got
same, dude.
locked out. I think we did 8 runs, and then we got locked out for 30 minutes, and
Oh.
then we got DC'd, and we couldn't get back in for like another 30. So yeah, it was a whole mess. But it was assassination the entire way, and into heroic dungeons, it's still been assassination.
You're still playing on assassination now?
I'm still playing assassination.
Okay, all right.
I can't wait to get off of it, but
Sounds like you guys are all doing the monkey runs in a group.
Yeah,
You keep saying we.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I got like through my first character because you put out the video and I didn't level pets at all because I'm not very big into pet battles.
Oh yeah.
And so it came out like 2 days before launch, and my chat was like, "Dude, have you even pre-quested?" And I was like, "Wait, pre-questing exists? I thought that got nerfed." They were like, "No, you can get 260k from Wintergrass." And I was like, "Ah, shit, I gotta go do this on all my rogues now." And the video came out, and I was like, "Well, I should have leveled my pets, and I didn't have time." So I was just like, yeah, I guess I'll just do the pre-quest and then level with a group. But I wanted to. I just I don't have any pets on any characters, and I'm not like a collector, so I don't do reps. That I don't need. I did all this stuff back in OG, so like doing it now feels repetitive. I was a big achievement hunter when I was younger. I don't think I can bring myself to do it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty big on the pet battles. I didn't start trying them until a little ways into the pre-patch, but then I was hooked, man. Pokemon's a great game. And now Pokemon is in World of Warcraft, so loving it.
Yeah.
Just blasted in pet battles, and now at like max level, you can get all kinds of lesser charm of good fortune and good stuff out of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can't you farm
I thought
Valor
that
from
was
it?
pretty good. What?
Can't you farm Valor from it?
Yes, Valor also. You
Yeah,
get
that's
Valor.
crazy.
There's like a bunch of daily quests, and you can just do a whole loop around all of Pandaria, and you hit like the Grandmaster Pet Tamers, you hit the Spirit Tamers, and you hit the legendary Beasts of Fable.
Okay.
You do them all at once, and it's kind of great.
Okay. All right. Okay, well that actually kind of brings me to the to the next topic, which was Simon wanted to talk about this, dude. Why does no one want to watch you play Pokemon, man?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I uploaded some stuff on my YouTube of, dungeon runs and leveling and this and pet battles. And the pet battle videos have like 1/5 the viewership of every other video recently uploaded. No one wants to watch this. I'm like, man, pet battles are cool. I think everyone is wrong, and I'm the only one that's right. And yeah, pet battles are cool. And yeah, right.
I guess I'll have to try this out. I don't know. Maybe I haven't been given it a chance. I remember I've got like a really bad memory, but I remember doing it when I was younger and liking it a lot. So maybe I'm just not giving it the chance it deserves now. To be fair, this has been the most stressful launch I think I've ever had in my entire life. So I don't think I have the time right now. But once things cool down, I might level some pets. I'll have to check out your videos so I can get a good idea of what pets I need to use, because I do not understand that aspect of the game in any capacity.
Yeah, I mean, in the pre-patch, I was just playing Team Rocket, you know? I was going into all the old raids, getting all the raid drop pets that were, like, a new addition to the game. So get Chrominius and, like, the pets in SSC and TK and Karazhan. And I was just taking them and selling them, man. I was making a lot of gold off of that.
Oh, is that lucrative?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, a lot of gold.
Really?
If you're able to solo twin imps, like, you could make quite a bit of money off of that pet right there.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
And
that pet
Subtlety
still
did it really
goes
well.
for like 8,000 gold.
Oh crap!
Yeah,
Okay.
7,000,
That's
8,000.
always,
Yeah.
It's worth your time to go in there and stealth through and quickly kill it. I think so, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say, especially if I realized from Simon's videos that there's apparently hidden pet like classifications that the game doesn't tell you about, and if you hit the jackpot one, it like doubles the price of the pet.
This
Like
tilted
epic
me so
values
much when I learned about that. All the pets, they have like different breeds they can show up as that modify their stats, like their attack and their health and their speed. But aside from like looking at the raw stat value and saying, hey, this one's higher than the other, the game doesn't tell you that you have like a power breed pet or a speed breed pet. It doesn't tell you that. So you have to get some add-on to tell you, which I find kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But most of the raid drop pets can only spawn as one particular breed. But there's a lot of other pets where like there's a variety of breeds and there's one that's like obviously the best. So if you can get the best breed, you can sell it for a lot more gold.
Okay. And how can people tell that on the auction house, or like does it tell you if you have the add-on?
If you have the add-on that shows you the pet breeds, then yes, you will see that on the auction house. But what I've seen from people listing pets is that the majority of people are not looking at their breeds. Like they'll have PP breed Nether Ray Fries listed for the same price as BB breed Nether Ray Fries. There's like the best and the worst.
Okay.
Like no one's paying attention to that, it seems, on the Nether Ray Fries. So like you could pick them up in that case, like really cheap. But like maybe for other pets, they're not like that. Like the ones that are very good battlers, like you might find them more expensive for the most appropriate breed.
Okay.
It kind of just depends what's on the auction house.
That sounds kind of like a nice gold flip, if you know what you're doing at the very least, though, right?
Right. You could look on the auction house and try to take advantage of people that aren't aware of their pet breeds and like buy out the good breeds and relist them higher.
Yeah, boys in my chat, if you guys want to be able to buy your Gray Shadow, you know what you got to do now. So figure that out. Yeah, because everyone's been complaining in my chat at the price of BOEs. So I mean, if you guys. If you guys aren't lucky enough to get a Krolls, then, go crazy on that, I suppose. Okay, well... Oh, go ahead.
Well, on the topic of the BOEs, the BOEs and all the 476 gear that's available right now, mostly locked behind reputations and the crafting stuff. I just said, man, I hate daily quests. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. I took the L and said, I'm not going to deal with all that. And, I learned that the Celestial Dungeons come out, 2 weeks after the raid, and then they just drop a bunch of 476 gear.
Yep.
So if you're like me, you either hate daily quests or you just don't have time to do all that crap. You're only going to be underpowered for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be able to get all that 476 gear out of the Celestials. So like also that goes to the crafted BOEs also. Like you'll be able to get stuff equivalent to that out of those Celestial Dungeons 2 weeks out. So that's my plan personally.
Yeah, well, and even more so to that point, right? Because of the stats being separated from resilience now and us having PvP power, PvP gear is like actually relevant in PvE. And we put out week 3 BIS lists for people that show like the best PvP items that you can get within the first 3 weeks. And I mean, you can even get 483 daggers, right, by week 3 if you're skipping reputations and stuff like that. And it's like, man, if you want to be lazy and there isn't a good reason for you to be, you know, like spending 20 hours a day on the game, yeah, just play casually, screw the dailies and just have fun with it. I mean, God, even the 489 Exalted gear from the quest is totally relegated by even just stepping foot into heroics and winning a piece, you know? So it's like all of this gear is super hyper min-max for people who are probably playing in, you know, more competitive guilds like Apoc and myself. But like if you're just casual and you're just trying to have a fun time and not like waste your own time, you guys could really just get away with, you know, doing exactly what Simon's saying, is just running Celestial Dungeons when they come out, and probably, for that matter, have better itemization on those items than you even would a lot of the gear that we're currently getting with these BOEs. Like, for sub players, Don Guerrero's, the neck piece, I think I was looking at it like right before the servers crash. It was 43k. It's mastery and haste. Like, we hate mastery as subtlety, you know? Like, there's no reason for you to be throwing 42k at that, and it's a very minor DPS increase.
I say, and even at that, the Scorched Scarlet key existing is just like, oh, like even as assassination, you kind of don't really want Don Guerrero's because you need the hit and expertise.
I got that necklace today. That was sweet.
Yeah. Okay, well, that actually brings me to the next topic. How has gearing been going for you guys? Because I have a lot to complain about. This is I actually invited you guys on this call just to vent to you about my gearing experience.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been doing heroics. Like I said, I kind of gave up on doing the reputation daily chores and all that stuff. So I got my rogue is like mostly as good as I'm gonna get it. A bunch of 458 justice gear and a bunch of 463 heroic gear. I'm still chasing for that. I need one more good trinket. I got my relic of Zuen, and then my other slot is pretty mid. So I'm trying to get that. The trinket in Soulvance, it dropped today. Lost the roll. Unlucky.
Oh, you lost Searing Words? No, dude, that sucks.
Too bad. Enhancement Shaman.
Oh, do an Enhancement Shaman? No, dude, that's horrible.
Yeah, but basically, as soon as I just accepted the fact that I wasn't going to do these dailies and like, it was kind of like a weight off my shoulders. Like, okay, the game's fun again. I don't have to do all these stupid chores. I've moved past that. Yeah. And yeah, just heroic dungeon gearing, and I'll do Celestials when they come out. Pop into the raid at, you know, high 450s, low 460s item levels. Seems like that'll be fine.
Yeah, totally. Okay. What about you, Backstabbi?
Yeah, I have a full set of heroic dungeon gear. I'm set. I'm good to go.
Do you have daggers? Nice. Do you have daggers?
I got double Trochanters.
What, dude? Okay, all right. How about you, Anhak? How about you?
I've been suffering for the most part. I got Searing Words day 1 of 90, which was kind of like, you know, but then I sat on Searing Words for like 3 days and got nothing, and I've been a little bit more lucky the last few days, but I'm somewhere in between there.
Yeah.
Got a few heroic pieces, but I'm not ready. I wish I, you know, had better pieces.
Yeah. And how about you, Apoc? Have you been having fun with the gearing process?
So, you know, I've got both the daggers. I've got Quigglers, I've got ×2, and I've got 1 Trochanters. So that hasn't been too bad.
Okay.
The trinket wise, Zen Alchemist Stone immediately at 85.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. Yeah. Not gonna lie, that felt really good. And then I picked up all the BOEs except for probably the same one that you were talking about earlier, the ring. That one's been pretty tough to get my hands on. Then the leatherworking pieces. That felt like I was in the deserts of AQ, like around AQ again, killing insects. We killed so many of those mobs to get moats. It was.
I was honestly
for Mode of Harmony farming. What insects? Because I've heard about farming the goats on the mountain in Valley of the Four Winds, but that didn't seem very good for me.
I wasn't literally farming insects. It just brought me back to the days of being in the desert, killing those insects, farming Scarab Lord for
there's like there's like a few different spots that I've tested so far. I've kind of gotten into the idea of hybrid farming at this point. So while I'm doing pickpocketing, there's an area in Townlong Steppes. I'm going to be making a video about this for pickpocketing. That's really good. If you guys did Townlong Steppe questing, there's that area where all the guys are shooting the bugs out of the air and they drop down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that area, you can pickpocket those guys. They're like one of the few bugs that you can pickpocket. And I was popping treasure finding potions, and after I would pickpocket, I would just kill them because they're one-shottable.
Nice.
For plundered treasure. And that was pretty decent for Motes of Harmony. And then the other thing that I've been doing is just harassing my guildies to kill big AoE packs on Windward Isle for me while I pickpocket there. And then I just fan spam them. So I do like a little bit of damage. And I just give them my treasure finding potions. So I'm an alchemist, so I make them the potions for them. And I just go, hey, if you'll help me out, please, my class is sucks at everything except for single target. I would really appreciate it. And there's like a bunch of really low HP like turtle hatchlings on Windward Isle, and then there's also an area in Valley of the Four Winds that's not too bad, and it doesn't seem contested. The like hatchlings only have about 150k HP. And there's usually between like 5 to 10 spawns of them at any given time. So you can kind of just kill those, and they always hyper spawn. So it's rogues suck at this specifically. Like rogues are actually the worst class for these types of farms. So you're pretty in the trenches. A lot of classes can kind of just pick up big packs of mobs and do whatever. So they have a lot more efficient farms than us. But, when you're not pulling 40 monkeys, you're not getting those legendary dagger procs very quickly. So it's like, you're kind of just stuck doing the crappiest but acceptable farms for your Motes of Harmony. And those were working out okay, but I was in Discord listening to Bicarb, who's talking in my chat right now. He was playing on his warrior, and he was able to farm I think it was 10 motes in maybe an hour. And
good.
Yeah, I think comparatively I did 3.
Wait, 10 motes in an hour, or 10 spirits of harmony?
10 motes. Or sorry,
So
spirits.
one
Yeah,
spirit
no, sorry, 10
Okay.
spirits. I got them
spirits
yeah,
is
backwards.
good.
Yeah, 10 spirits of
10
harmony.
motes is not good.
No, yeah. No, I was the guy getting 1 spirit an hour. So that was really cool
There you
listening to
go.
that. Yeah, I was like, oh, awesome. But in terms of my launch experience, so the reason that I've been playing the game so much and I haven't left my house is because I have done, between my 2 level 90 rogues, over 50 runs of Gate of the Setting Sun, and not seen a single Manted Trochanter drop. I've
That's too
also
bad.
I've also done over 30 runs of Siege, not seen a Tolakesh. And I only have 1 Kogler on each rogue. I have not even seen double Koglers.
That's unlucky, man.
Yeah. So this launch experience has just been me probably at least 3 or 4 times a day crashing out and screaming on stream. It's been a lot of fun for the viewers, and probably the most miserable experience for me. I've always been pretty unlucky with launch experiences, but this is by far the unluckiest I've ever been. I did a 35-hour stream, slept 6 hours into a 25-hour stream, and then I have slept 3 hours every day since and done between
Oh my god.
16 to 20-hour streams. And then I worked a 12-hour shift at my normal job on Sunday. So
All right.
yeah, I am in the trenches, and my mental sanity is in the gutter. It's been a monstrosity for me. But
Yeah,
luckily,
I remember I hit the first heroic I did. I just queued up for random. It was Gate of the Setting Sun, and I spawned in, and it was 3 rogues.
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like, oh, obviously 3 rogues are in the one that drops the dagger.
Yeah.
It didn't drop anyways, but
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel extremely cursed at this point. I cannot believe that. And even more so to that point, I mean, it sounds like some of you guys have been doing pretty well with your gearing experience, but I've kind of had a common sentiment amongst a lot of viewers that rogue loot just isn't dropping for them. Like most of the time.
True.
Yeah.
It's
So
always strength and intellect gear.
yeah,
It's lame.
yeah, and that's I feel like I'm becoming a conspiracy theorist at this point. I don't know if it's just like the lack of sleep or what, but and also not even just the lack of sleep. It's the people going, dude, I got my 3rd Kroll scimitar today. Dude, I got a gloaming blade today. Dude, I just got my 2nd Tolakesh. Right before we started this, someone linked me a Tolakesh with an enchant on it, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me, dude!" Yeah, so I've been having the worst experience with this out of any expansion I think ever, and I have hard grinded the last every expansion since Classic re-release, so this has been just a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it I think is just how loaded some of these loot tables are. Like, I think it's pretty consistent. Just glancing down, the servers are up, by the way. Just glancing down the drop lists. Every non-end boss has 5 items, and then every end boss has like 8.
Yeah,
8 to 10.
Yep.
Not including their epic item. And we're typically only wanting 1 item off of that list.
Yeah, something I was kind of surprised with this expansion was just the lack of loot variety. Because I only pay attention to my class, but it feels like there's only 2 pieces of gear per slot out of like all of the heroics in total, right? Outside of like maybe some of the hybrid classes, like warrior like tanks versus DPS and stuff like that. Maybe there's like a little bit more gear for them, but it feels like there's only maybe 2 or 3 pieces in general for 463 gear out of dungeons, and that's I don't know. That also feels, in my opinion, like a little bit miserable, because it's like there's just really nothing to get outside of the 458 Justice gear, or Honor gear, I guess, is also another option until you get gear out of Heroics, unless you are, an oiler and have 500k to spend on BOEs.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the way that it is, as far as I'm aware. As far as exact 463 items is concerned, there's 2 per slot. Sometimes they're more or less even. Sometimes there's particular standouts. Yeah, it's gonna take, like, honor gear really helps fill in the gaps. Especially when we get conquests. Like, even if you're not good at rated PvP, you can just go in, play games. Don't throw. That'll get you banned. But even if you just chain lose, you will be able to buy conquest pieces, and those are, I forget the item level, but they're fine. They're good.
They're 483. They're insane.
483. Yeah, they're extremely over itemized for their release time. It's kind of crazy. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. That'll get me to do some PvP. I'm not usually a big PvP guy, but if I can go in and lose one way or another and walk out with some items.
A little participation prize.
I'll go in.
Yeah, a little participation prize. I'm not too mad about that. Yep. Yeah, well, and that'll be fun, because everyone will be telling me I'm terrible at PvP the entire time. I haven't PvP'd since I was like 16 years old, so this is like, it's going to be a monstrosity of an experience. I can't even remember what half the classes do in this expansion. So,
I got a PvP toy off of a rare spawn today. Something that like when you kill someone, your character like taunts them or something.
Oh, that's
man,
cool.
I gotta do that. I gotta use that.
That sounds
That's
super
good.
cool. Yeah, that sounds super cool.
There's also something that you probably should be doing. The dailies for Half Hill to grow your farm. There's a toy that you get at Revered or Exalted, I forget. But you can use it on their corpse to turn them into a pile of meat.
Nice.
You chop up their body and turn them
That's
into
pretty
just
cool.
meat.
That's the ultimate disrespect. I like that. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the next topic. I kind of want to ask what spec you guys are planning on raiding with, and all answers are acceptable except for combat.
Oh, well, I mean, is the combat off spec acceptable?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I was gonna say assassination, because it's easy, much easier. I mean, a lot of people will say like, oh, they're all easy, but assassination is definitely less complicated than sub. Okay, let's just get
Yeah,
less
100%,
complicated.
100%.
So just roll in with assassination. I figure like I don't know the raid already, so I want to pick the easiest spec to play. So I'm paying more attention to the raid mechanics and my positioning and that kind of stuff. Less attention to micromanaging my rotation. So like assassination mainly, and then like combat's just good when you can hit a bunch of targets. So you know if there are fights like I think the first one with the stone lion guys. Like, that one seems like you can hit a lot of targets with Blade Flurry, and that might be good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I was going to ask alongside that, too. Are you doing blind run for the first week? Or are you, like, doing no research and just going to kind of figure it out as you go? Or are you kind of doing, like, a half and half thing?
I think I watched one Jordy video at one point about some of the bosses and have consumed no, like, raid guide content outside of that, so I pretty much don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I don't know. I will honestly, I had a guild that was gonna do it, but then they all quit to play RuneScape, and then I didn't have a guild, and then I didn't find a replacement guild to like do a launch day raid. So my current launch day plan is log in and see if I can find a normal mode pug.
Hell yeah.
Me.
Okay. All right. What
That's
about you, Backstabbi? You said you're with your 10-man, but what spec do you plan on taking into 10-man week 1?
Yeah, so I'm in a similar boat as Simon, though for a couple of different reasons. I'm going to be maining Assassination primarily because I feel it's the most well-rounded spec. It may not have the highest theoretical single target, and it may not have the like as strong as Combat's Cleave, but it can do both. The issue with Combat is that its single target is lacking, and the issue with Sub is that outside of shenanigans with the legendary daggers, its AoE is a bit weak.
Yeah.
As Assassination, particularly in 10-man, I can be a little more well-rounded and do multiple tasks without feeling like I'm like doing something wrong.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The other thing is that as Assassination, you're just a little bit better at applying the poison spell damage debuff on the off targets. You got that little extra percent, and I'm valuing that probably higher than I should.
Oh, right, for like raid utility
but
is what you're saying.
Yeah, I just don't want to think about it. So I'm like, all right,
yeah,
higher poison chance, cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, what about you, Anhak? What are you planning on playing?
On dogs, I'll probably play combat. Although I did run a sim right before we started this call, and theoretically, if you're in a 25 man and can hold 3 ruptures, mutilate should do more damage.
Great content.
Really?
That is theoretical. It's 141k versus 138k. So it's,
really okay.
It's very close, but it's interesting, right? That like that is the value of multi-target rupturing.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's actually good to know. That's super dope.
But I do plan on actually playing Sin because if you're not lusting on pole, they are very close, even in theoretical DPS.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's kind of similar to Stabby. I probably overvalued dispatch and the execute value that you get from that.
Yeah, totally. Especially during prog, being in execute phase is going to be really nice for people who are maybe struggling on like not getting those initial kills with ease. So having that DPS boost for a lot of guilds who are actually hard progging raids who have not cleared them on PTR and stuff like that, that's probably a good option. And how about you, Apoc?
So went back and forth on it for a little bit.
Okay.
Assassination got a buff. Subtlety got their buff. They both got a 15% buff. I've landed on Assassination in combat. The single target DPS is really close, but the thing that actually pushes me over the edge is Elegon. Having a little bit of extra help to kill those little spheres, getting those dispatches and using Mark for Death to be able to have an instant 5 combo point Envenom on them
Oh,
and to dispatch.
You're
is
swapping
really
to them
good.
single target.
Yes.
Ah, okay, sure. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's a good idea. Yeah, okay.
Are we all playing Assassination main combat off?
I am not. I am playing subtlety through and through.
Sub, okay.
Yeah, I am playing subtlety through and through. I am a sub coper from day one all the way on. I honestly I think assassination, and I've talked about this a lot on stream. A lot of people have been kind of echoing the same sentiment that you guys have said in the call already, is that like subtlety is a lot harder to play, and assassination is very easy. And for anyone who's not very comfortable with raid mechanics, I would say assassination is going to be the perfect spec for you to go into a raid with. A lot of people have asked along the lines of, I've never raided in WoW before. What spec do you think I should play? And I always tell them I'm like 100% assassination. It's going to be a much easier experience for you to get into. I just love the pacing of subtlety so much. And, if there's any sort of juice that I can eke out in any capacity with extra DPS, I definitely plan to play whatever that spec is, whether that be combat, assassination, or sub. But because subtlety has anticipation as their 90 talent, I honestly think the gameplay loop with subtlety and its cooldown rotation by like stacking up combo points for vanishes and stuff like that to get more evises or ruptures off with master of subtlety feels really good. I honestly love how rewarding like planning ahead feels with subtlety. And I've played it for so long at this point, and I'm so comfortable with it that like a lot of the nuance and things that people say is more overwhelming for them doesn't bother me at all anymore. So I think for me, it's probably just going to be sub in combat all the way through MSV. And
oh yeah.
Honestly, I think I'll do subtlety and assassination for Heart of Fear, but I'm not exactly sure about that yet. I don't want to give people the wrong idea, but I kind of think that combat's a waste of time in Heart of Fear. So, yeah, I don't know. I love that everybody likes assassination, but I am a little sad to hear that everyone dislikes sub and its complexity, because I think that's what makes it fun.
I love subtlety. I love its complexity. I loved how it played in Dragon Soul. It's just Mark for Death on the hardest encounters in MSV provides a fair amount of utility.
Sure.
Whether that be the last boss or Elegon, it's just
in my guild.
I'm bringing combat not for the first fight. I'm bringing combat for the 8.1 second stun
on Spirit Kings. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's because it doesn't do the entire thing, right? That I can't remember the name of the ability, but that's it's 9 seconds long. Is it the whole ability?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So long as you time it appropriately.
Okay.
Gotta time it right.
Okay, cool.
Revealing strike giving a bonus to your like offensive finishing moves. Yeah, that affects kidney shots.
Yeah,
you can
right.
Turn that 6 second into, what did you say, 8.1 or 9 second?
8.1. It's somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
It's just barely long enough to last the entire duration. If you got a Ret Paladin and it's not going to last, then they can throw in their 6 second stun, which is going to be DR'd, but they can throw that in to kind of band-aid.
Yeah, totally.
Now, when you say the entire duration, can you explain to me, like I'm an idiot and have no idea what's going on in that raid? Why do you need this long duration stun on that boss?
So that boss will put up a shield, and it'll give you a little bit of a warning, assuming you have a weak Warpack to tell you, or maybe it shows a cast or whatever. If you hit this shield while he finishes the cast, after he finishes the cast, your character will both lose, it'll take more physical damage, and you'll deal like 50% less damage. So it's really important
don't hit the shield.
You don't hit the shield. And that's a very common idea for that encounter. If the enemy puts up a shield, don't hit the shield.
Yeah, that makes sense. For my guild, rogues are not swapping off of Elegon, so like the spec choices in terms of utility is like actually just real clear cut and dry. Our spec choices are like, hey dude, do whatever makes you pump. And that's really all that they expect of us, thank God.
So forgive me, but the boss puts up a shield and you don't want to hit him with a shield. How does the stun factor into that?
So when he puts up his shield, the shield lasts a duration, right? So you're
Mhm.
gonna have to hit it. But if you time it right after the cast, or right shortly after the cast, you won't induce a damage penalty or damage reduction penalty to yourself.
Yeah, it's so long as the boss is incapacitated, you don't get the
Yeah.
the debuff for
While he
attacking
has
him.
that, exactly, while that boss,
Okay.
while that specific boss that puts up the DR shield, he can be stunned while he has that shield up.
And then when he's stunned, he doesn't apply the debuff to people that attack him.
Yeah, and
That's correct.
I can't remember what.
Okay, that's the critical bit of
Yeah,
information that
I
links
shot my
the two
bet.
together.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I can't remember.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's that's a really good reason to bring combat, and then on top of that, it's like you have prey on the weak, right? So it's like one rogue in your raid takes a bit of an L on personal DPS, but then you also get like minor areas in which they get to cleave on that fight. So there will be the transition on Spirit Kings where the first boss is starting to fade out, and then the second boss is coming in on a timer. Or sorry, you're about to kill the first boss, but the second boss is already active. You get cleave opportunities there. They're not very large, but you'll get like a little bit of uptime with Blade Flurry on that fight. And then on top of that, also the 8-second kidney with the Prey on the Weak 10% damage bonus. So you take a little bit of a personal L, but you end up benefiting the raid in a pretty large capacity with that.
One
Yeah,
little
that
warning
sounds
to it is you really don't want to hit it early, because prior to him putting up the shield, he'll be immune, and you'll just scuff everything. Much of your raid will keep attacking, they'll get the debuff, so your raid, not only, you just gotta be really careful, your raid needs to know to also stop attacking when he puts up that shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the debuff itself, if I'm not mistaken, is 50% damage increased taken, and then 50% damage done reduced, if I'm not right.
It's some percentage of both of those.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I'm correct on the percentages, but that's
It's
essentially
really
what it
bad.
is. Yeah, it's
Don't get the debuff.
it's a really bad debuff. So having a good combat rogue that's going to be on top of that is really, really nice, especially for 25-man raids where you have a lot more people to make sure you're keeping track of and make sure that they're not messing up mechanics. So okay, well that's our specs. I guess we kind of already rolled into the topic with interesting techniques or maybe interesting things that you're considering doing on each boss. You were talking about Spirit Kings and Elegon. Do you guys have any interesting tech that you think is useful at the launch week for any of the rogues that are going to be going into the raid? I've got some interesting tech. Oh, go ahead.
Go for it.
No, go ahead.
We'll need to see, because there was possibly an issue with Mark for Death. We'll see if it's fixed or not. But Mark for Deathing the little ads on Elegon could be really good, even for sub. But Mark for Death and throwing a Rupture up is going to feed you a lot of energy as Assassination.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the more simpler techs that I think rogues should look for, not just on that fight, but every single fight moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, being able to swap between Mark for Death and Anticipation, depending on whatever spec you're playing. If you're playing Assassination at base, you'll automatically be using it. But yeah, there's definitely some interesting tools there on a multitude of different bosses. I would even say for Emperors, if you guys are not using the... there's a strat in which you don't really have to kill as many ads for the last boss in MSV. If you guys are on that fight and your priority as a melee is to kill ads in whatever raid you're in, Mark for Death, even for subtlety or combat or whatever spec you play, probably going to be a really good choice, because you'll get a lot of uptime with Mark for Death as you'll be resetting that cooldown every single time you kill an ad, and that's really good DPS considering that... in case anyone doesn't know, melee just outright get a damage buff on that fight for being melee because it's so grief as melee. So they just outright buff your damage so that you get to do more, because you literally spend the entire fight running around the room while range just get to sit in the middle and do their normal rotation. So I would imagine
Good fight design.
Yeah, no
Buff
kidding.
melees instead of
Yeah, no kidding. And on top of that, actually, it's even cooler. In that fight, I'll mention some of the tech that I plan on using specifically for the last boss. Something that rogues can expect to be in charge of on that fight is dealing with sparks on heroic. Whenever you kill an ad on heroic, a spark will spawn from whatever ad that you kill. Those need to be soaked, otherwise they will blow up the raid. I can't remember what the radius on their explosion is, but it's not massive, but it does a lot of damage and will one-shot people without a soaked ability. So something that would be really useful to use on that fight is probably Glyph of Feint to increase its uptime, as well as basically spamming Cloak of Shadows off of cooldown whenever you're planning on soaking. If you aren't put in control of doing those, congratulations, your raid comp is fantastic and you don't need to do it. If you're using the cheese strat, you also might not have to do it as well as much. But the Glyph of Feint is going to be fantastic, as well as because of how big the room is and how much movement there is, you should most certainly expect yourself to be using Burst of Speed over Shadow Step. The loss of uptime by not having Burst of Speed is massive. I tried to do it with Shadow Step. I honestly thought during PTR it wouldn't be a big deal. I was getting gapped by other rogue because he just caught on to Burst of Speed and how good it was faster than I was. So you'll definitely want to use both of those. Another thing that I will say is that when you're doing the dance, Burst of Speed is a really massive boon to you because sometimes bosses will position or move slightly with your tanks. And when you're doing the dance, if you chain 10 dance moves in a row, you get this ability called Opportunistic Strike, where you just outright get to deal 1,000,000 damage to the boss. So screw your personal DPS and screw your rotation. Just press buttons and make sure that you're dancing properly so that you can get opportunistic strikes and actually pump the boss. Burst of Speed is a massive boon on that fight across every single mechanic. Moving around, soaking, doing the dance, it's integral. So if you guys, when you get into that fight, just trust me on that ahead of time. It's not worth the headache to try and make that whole fight work without it. Well, you got any other ones, Apoc? I can't think of any massive ones off the top of my head for MSV.
You took the one I was going to talk about, which is Burst of Speed on that final encounter. It's so crucial. Definitely consider using it. Something that, if you're not soaking, like me, I don't have to soak the explosions too often. I'm one of the backup people, I guess, if we really need to.
I am also
and we
one
are
of the
doing that
backup people.
strat where we see all the ads, and you don't have to really deal with them very much. But what I am using throughout the entire of the raid is it's just, if you just don't want to die, you just cheat death.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's so simple, but it makes a world of a difference.
Yeah.
It makes, it's amazing for raiding.
90-second cooldown.
Yeah, most of the guides that I've seen so far, and just like the basic implementations, have you using what is it, elusiveness, right, is in the same tier as
Yep.
So like a lot of them having you using elusiveness. The reality is that there's not a ton of fights in which feint is super great. The last fight, feint is very good, so you will want to use elusiveness over cheat death in that circumstance. But there is actually just good implementation of cheat death, not just being a, oh shit button, I messed up a mechanic. There is good implementation of cheat death being a, I'm going to purposely mess up a mechanic to increase my DPS. One of those would be not exactly MSV, but in the next raid tier immediately after, I don't know when we're getting those releases, in Terrace. Shaw of Anger does a frontal, and if you're not in it, you will outright die. You can cheat death one of them, and you can just cloak the other. So you never have to leave behind the boss. And the breaths are so far apart in spacing that you can just intermingle the two of them and never worry about having to stand on top of the raid and potentially parrying or anything like that. You just get to sit behind the boss the entire time. You get to outright ignore a mechanic just by, failing to do it. Yep, and that's awesome. That's super awesome.
Little tech, and I don't know if this will go through the beta or if somebody will catch on this, but if your combat on that fight, because part 2 of shot, this is getting decently into the weeds, and it's 2 tiers away, but you can also use killing spree to immune it as well.
Yes, you
I don't
can.
know if that'll stick.
Yeah.
That'll stick, so you can go back
Sweet.
and forth between Cloak of Shadows and killing spree to never have to go inside the pizza pie.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm
you can
actually
be-
gonna take off. I'm gonna get myself some dinner.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm pretty hungry. Had
Yeah.
a long day. Thank you for having me. I had a blast here. Great conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Simon, thank you for coming out, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
you.
Thanks for the invite. I had a good time, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your raid discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good night, man. I hope you get some food.
Later.
All right, adios.
Peace out.
Yep.
All right, let me move my webcam really quick and then we'll get back into it. Okay, so these are the main things that I want to talk about. So we were talking about a lot of theoretical stuff, but I figured we would save it until after Simon dipped out because it's not really, something that he's as interested in talking about. The big things that I want to talk to you guys about are what you guys think are going to be the absolute top DPS that you can get out of any given spec across the raid tier, how we feel specs are going to scale from this raid tier to the next, and what we think will be on top in, let's say, tier 15, tier 16, and the reasoning as to, any justifications towards those topics. So I kind of am under the impression that as the expansion goes on, and this is just my own personal opinion, I have not done the numbers on any of this. I kind of have a feeling, unless they do some sort of balancing, that subtlety is going to be king for the rest of the expansion in terms of single target, because I feel like it just scales better, and I feel like assassination scales worse over the course of the expansion.
So I know
Alright, hear me out.
Backstabbi. Yeah, I know where
Yeah,
Backstabbi.
this is.
I'll go for it, dude.
Yeah.
I know exactly where you're headed.
What does 80% adrenaline rush uptime sound like?
Sure.
That is going to be
Sure.
nuts. Combat's going to be crazy.
Sure. You still feel that's the case even with the 15% buffs?
In Siege, 100%.
Really? Okay.
Even with that, combat scales insanely. There's a couple of factors that go into that. It's not just 40% attack power, though that's a lot of it. It makes the best use of secondary stats of all of our specs.
Sure.
It scales off of all of them to an insane degree. The only thing that might be better is assassination with crit, because of Seal Fate. But like haste and mastery and the interaction between them on combat might be the best spec design that has ever been created, because they both give back energy and they both increase the effect of each other.
Okay.
In addition to that, combat just gets really good items as we go through the expansion. This tier, the bonuses is, what is it? Yeah, 15% Sinister Strike damage, and the set has to get nerfed for combat. You get 6 seconds of additional Shadow Blade's duration instead of 12. But that's still, combat is the best scaling spec off of the set bonuses. It's still our weakest spec, but it gains the most from that tier set.
Yeah, totally.
Going into the next phase with Throne of Thunder, increased duration on finishers, which again has the biggest effect on combat. You get a longer duration rupture and you get a longer duration slice and dice. It is also decent for subtlety, but because it increases the duration of slice and dice, you then put more combo points into eviscerate,
into actual
which is
offensive finishers.
More cooldown reduction.
Yep. And so that means more cooldown uptime, indirect buff to your cooldowns.
Mm-hmm. But then the 4 set in Throne of Thunder is where things start to get out of control. So the iteration that we have of it now is a 15% reduction in energy costs for the duration of Shadow Blades. That on its own is absolutely nuts. There's also a secondary effect on it that it does not say. Don't know if we'll have it, but if it's implemented exactly as the way things were in patch 5.4, there's also a 0.2 second global cooldown reduction on that set bonus. The reason why they included that is that combat generated too much energy and would just energy cap. So we're
Is that
going to
across
have
all
the-
3 specs, or is that only for combat?
That's all 3 specs, but combat's the only one that can really
benefit
utilize it
from
because
it, yeah.
it generates that much energy,
Yeah.
right? So Blizzard added that because at the time it was being theorized that you wanted to separate Adrenaline Rush and Shadow Blades. The thing is that with the way that we have the game now, Adrenaline Rush has a GCD reduction on it, and then Shadow Blades will have a GCD reduction on it.
Right.
So you're going to have a half-second GCD.
Yeah.
And you still can't spend all your energy.
Yeah.
You're still going to energy cap.
Yep.
You're doing absolute, just like probably the highest burst damage in the game for like 20 seconds every minute.
Yeah, and it also
because that's how fast you're going to cycle it.
And because of the relevance of Restless Blades, right, making it so that you're always getting CDR, combat ends up being this spec in which you literally just pop cooldowns off cooldown. There's not even a thought process to it. Because the reality is that any second you have spent not using your cooldowns means that there is a second spent that you might not be getting CDR from it, right? Cooldown reduction from it, which means you are not, you don't have to think as much about your cooldowns. It's just, am I going to get uptime with these? Okay, use them. Oh, they're off cooldown? Use them. Because the reality is every single time I do a finisher, I might not benefit from CDR if I don't press them. It doesn't matter what insight you're in. It doesn't, I mean, there's like certain things that you could do with anticipation to min-max those things, right? You can use like anticipation to push yourself into deeper insights and then pop them before you use a finisher. That way you're not losing benefit from those things. But even then, there's an argument to be made that like they should still be on cooldown for even the seconds that they would just be ticking down naturally with their own cooldown, right? So it's like, you just literally use them off cooldown any single moment that they come up, and that's so fun. I guess the only argument against them is that you don't want to use them at the same time. That's the only argument against them. So you don't want to have Shadow Blades and AR.
Rush.
Yeah.
You hold Adrenaline Rush and Shadow Blades if Killing Spree will be up in like the next 2 finisher casts.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only thought process that goes into it.
Yep. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I look forward to when combat is the go-to spec. It's going to piss so many people off, though. There's so many people that, because of latency, because of how many buttons you're pressing, they're not going to be down with it.
It does feel like crap.
I
with
think
bad
it's
ping.
insanely fun.
Yeah, we were dealing with
will not be fun.
We were dealing with input lag on beta, and there was multiple times in which input lag, like the game wouldn't be lagging. The game would be functioning totally normal. But I would be getting input lag while I was pressing things, and then I would overcap my combo points accidentally. And like not even by like a small margin, it would be, oh, I accidentally pressed 2 extra Sinister Strikes that I didn't mean to press and I should have eviscerated, but they just didn't load at the time I pressed my mouse. And so now I'm just like, I've spent 15 combo points, but I only generated 10. And it is actually that crazy. And that was in this raid tier on beta. So imagine what that's going to feel like in Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar. That's going to be insane because we're at the lowest that we'll ever be with our haste right now. And to be fair, I will say we were in Phase 1 BIS when we were doing this on beta. So like obviously our haste values are a lot higher than they are currently. But you roll, your Phase 1 BIS haste values with Bloodlust and then Shadow Blades and Adrenaline Rush, you're already energy capping. So I can only imagine what it's going to look like in Throne. It sounds like it's, for me personally, I've got really bad ADHD. So any chance that I get to be hyper engaged into an activity, I'm really excited about that. But I imagine most casual players are going to hate the experience.
Something you're definitely want to do if we get the iteration of a 0.5 second GCD, which by the way, looking at the WoW sims of what you implemented with that, was so silly. Looking at the GCDs and what we're pressing compared to our white hits, was the amount of Sinister Strikes you're doing compared to our white hits was so silly looking.
Yeah.
But you want to definitely lower your spell queue window.
Yes.
So that you're not,
100%.
queuing up an ability when you don't want to be.
God, when do you, what would you even want your spell queue window to be? You'd probably want it to be below 100.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. like spell queue 50, maybe, something like that?
Yeah, I was
Probably
thinking
something like that.
Yeah.
50, 30, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, holy crap. Yeah, and it felt bad even with 100 on beta. So
Yeah.
so I imagine you probably wanted it like 50 or 30 or something like that. It's that fast paced. It's kind of insane. So you guys are thinking
Becomes required to get an exit lag subscription.
Yeah, no kid. Yeah, no kidding.
So
Go ahead.
the current TOT sims, which is a few things missing if you're simming right now, particularly when it comes to the legendary quest line when it comes to TOT, and there's a few other issues that the team knows about. But Sub and Sin are neck and neck again, and combat is creeping up on them.
Yep.
It's about 10,000 DPS behind.
Yep.
But I would also expect, like, legendary meta should be better for combat than it is for assassination, than it is for sub.
Yep. Yep.
So
Wow, you guys are really
that
killing my dreams right now.
alone
That's
might
crazy.
flip that up.
Yeah. You guys are really killing my dreams. Combat's my least favorite spec, and it always has been. I honestly hate that spec. I've hated it since Wrath. And you know what? Not for any good reason either. The reason I hate combat is because everyone always wanted me to be the EA rogue during Wrath, and I really hated being EA. So
That was my job.
Yep, and I just ever since I just have like a fiery burning rage in me to not play combat. So that'll be fun later on in the expansion, but we'll see. I was told Windwalker might pop off in Throne of Thunder or something like that. I don't know if that's true, but if they're any good, we'll find out, I suppose, in that time. All right, I kind of want to go ahead.
Real quick, something of note in Throne of Thunder, while it might not be hitting hard on the single target sims, you know, we've talked it up, right? Something important of note in Throne of Thunder, the encounters, I just did a brief glance. There's quite a few encounters in there with ads.
Yeah,
that you'll want
I
to cleave
know.
down.
I know.
So,
I know.
It's going to be extra spicy
Yeah.
if it is the case that your cleave damage is going to be useful in those encounters.
Yeah. By the way, while the servers were down, they nerfed Monkey Run XP by 50%.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
You better get in while it's good, gamers. You better get in while it's good, because Blizzard hates fun. Blizzard hates fun. Okay, I kind of want to swap the topic up. Have you guys done any pickpocketing?
I have.
You have? Have you
And
guys
I
found
think-
any good
I think-
spots?
Was it Northwest Townlong Steps? Was where I was going? Was that what you were talking about?
No, I was all the way at the bottom of the map. All the way at the bottom of the map in Townlong, like right on the edge near Dread Wastes.
So in the northwest area of Townlong Steps, there's like a campfire. I don't know the exact name of it. I don't have a map pulled up.
Okay.
There's like a campfire place where there's just a bunch of Tauren just sitting around. And, you know, it'll take you about 5-ish minutes to get through all of them, pickpocketing them. And then you can just take like a 3-minute break, or you can kill some. Is the pickpocket refresh, is that still 8 minutes?
It's 10 minutes, I think.
Is it 10 minutes?
It's either
Okay,
8 or
well,
10. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go up there. There's a bunch of Tauren. You can pickpocket all of them, and then you can, I guess, chill out for a bit.
Yeah. What about you?
That's the spot.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Okay. I was gonna say, what about you, Anhak? Have you done any?
No, I've actually been fishing for my gold.
You've been fishing? Oh, is it
Yes.
lucrative? Is that worth it?
It depends on what you're fishing.
Okay.
There is some spots where it's over 5,000 gold an hour. So
Over 5,000? Okay, that's not bad
Yeah.
at all.
theoretical, one of the spots could be upwards of 10.
Okay. Hit my DMs.
So-
Anyway. Okay. All right, that's not bad. What about you, Backstabbi? You've been coping on a Kroll's drop?
No, I have not like purposefully gone out and done pickpocketing. I've got it macroed into my stuff, and I open boxes, you know, running dungeons and all that. But
Oh, that's actually so smart. I should put pickpocket into my ambush. Oh.
yeah, because it turns out mobs have pockets in dungeons,
Yeah.
just
Well,
not the first mobs.
yeah. Well, except
you have
for
to kill a boss, and suddenly they all have pockets again.
yeah. Well, and not in Scarlet Monastery, because they still drop level 35 items. By the way, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. They did not scale it. Yeah, I went on the hunt, and you guys were in my stream, or some of you guys were in my stream during that. But I went on the hunt on beta, and we tested like every spot that I could think of, and every single spot had been nerfed from original MoP, like somewhere between 5.3 and 5.4. But I did find a really good spot in Town Long Steps, right on the edge. I think I'd mentioned that earlier, where there's a bunch of Klaxi that spawn, and there's guys that shoot them out of the air, and they drop down to the ground. They have maybe 10% HP. All of them have pockets, and then you can pop a treasure finding potion to kill them after you pick their pockets. And that has been really good. That has been really good so far, and it's been like a nice hybrid farm for both spirits as well as the lock boxes. So I've been enjoying that. And then the other place that I found was Windward Isle. The on the far side of the island, there's like a bunch of camps of lizardmen. I actually don't know what that faction is called. The Scaly Boys, you know? And you can pickpocket them, and there's always people like AoE farming for spirits there. So they respawn really fast. Yeah, they're Sarrocs, thank you. Those are a really good spot for you to go farm, but I've done like maybe 500 lockboxes at this point already and not gotten a Krolls, so I think I'm off that train entirely. The Krolls hype is like so massive, and it's worth so much gold. It's like 320k, I think one of my viewers sold it for. So that sounds really great, but I just am so unlucky with everything, it seems, I guess. You know, I can't get my Prebis, I can't get a Krolls, I can't get a Gloaming, no Tolakesh. You know, it seems less effective than maybe doing what Anhak is talking about and just doing a 10,000 gold an hour you know, fishing spot instead in between my queues. So I don't know. I've been having a really hard time trying to find ways to make good gold, because most of the good gold farms right now are kind of associated to your class, if I'm being honest, you know, unless they're profession based, but most professions are kind of net negatives at the moment because so many people are leveling them outside of just gathering professions. And yeah, man, it's been a tough expansion. It's been a tough expansion. Gold has been leaving my pocket and not coming back to me. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was before we kind of just get back into rating and talk more about, you know, Heart of Fear, maybe specific stuff like that. I wanted to ask, do you guys have any tips or tricks that you would give to anyone that is going to be leveling Rogue?
Play every spec. Don't. The amount of people are like, what spec should I level at? All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Find the one that you prefer to play. Like, if you're not in a top parsing guild and you'd want to just play combat, then just play combat. Take the monk weapons. Who cares?
The monks
The
will
video
hate you,
game is
but,
meant
you know.
to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Anhak? Do you have any tips for them?
If you're just going to level, I 100% agree. Play what you want. My biggest tip, honestly, is Deadly Momentum. That glyph is going to make you so much happier leveling in dungeons, leveling in the open world, whatever you're doing. That glyph is going to help you not spend combo points on Slice and Dice or not spend it on Recuperate every 3 mobs.
Yeah, that way you're not having to reopen on every single target. It's like your first kill will be a little annoying because you'll kill that one specifically slower. But once you have a 5 combo point Slice and Dice and a 5 combo point Recoup, and you're on a kill quest where you just have to keep rolling through mobs, you're literally just mounting up, dropping in on stealth, and then hitting your opener, and then nothing but offensive finishers. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's a really good comment. What about you, Apoc? How do you feel? Oh, is he here?
He's dead.
He's dead. He
I
died.
think
There he is.
I think for newer players who are just coming back to MoP, maybe they played in TBC, skipped Wrath of the Lich King for whatever reason. It was a great expansion. Maybe they skipped Cataclysm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just coming back to the game. Don't feel pressured about leveling any certain way. If you like doing dungeons, spam your dungeons. If you like doing monkey runs, JK, you can't do that anymore. But questing is perfectly fine. If you want to quest to get all your to have more of a smooth experience, getting all your gear and getting into the Dreadwaste.
Yeah, well, and getting some gold
That's
for that
perfectly
matter.
fine too.
You know, the quest reward gold is really
Absolutely.
good. Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think people get way too caught up in the and like it's ironic coming from someone such as myself to say this, but there is a very like specific set of circumstances that is placed on people like myself and Apoc that we have to get things done in a certain amount of time to make sure that we're ready for the raids when they release. But like if you're just like a normal player, I think people get way too caught up in the weeds of doing the most efficient thing. The reality is that we did monkey runs, and then I leveled just by questing with a character. The XP differences between those things is maybe like a few hours to hit 90, like a few hours at most. And whatever you prefer more, if you want to just do something cozy and like sit back and quest, the questing experience actually pretty fun. I don't like questing that much. Leveling has never been my primary enjoyment from this game. In fact, I kind of loathe it. I actually liked questing this time around. It was enjoyable to just hang out and be able to quest and have a good time and not have to worry about the outcome of the XP per hour on my third rogue. Moving on to the next topic, and I think these will be our last two topics before we end the stream. How are you guys feeling about the raiding experience as a rogue on a with the bosses and mechanics that we're dealing with in things like MSV, Terrace, and Heart of Fear? And then our last topic will be what's that transmog looking like? Like you guys are you guys transmog gamers? So we'll start off. I think MSV is a cakewalk for rogues. I think we actually have to do barely anything, and I think that's really awesome. I love patchwork fights because I just love to pump DPS, so I'm really excited about MSV. I hate Terrace, and I am so on Heart of Fear.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a certain mentality to play melee DPS, and it takes another mentality on top of that to play the one pure melee DPS.
Yeah.
There's stuff that we can be really useful on, and then there's times where we will question why we exist.
Mm-hmm.
It really just comes with the territory. We have the benefit of being able to just absolutely blast on single target. Yeah, it's as far as mechanics with cloak, with feint, with smoke bomb, we should always be the last person to die on any progression pool. So that can be a huge benefit of like, even if you're letting your damage slip a bit, if you're feinting every single point of damage, and if you're dropping smoke bomb when your raid's taking damage, like you're solving so many problems on your own.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I do think with the rogue toolkit in this entire first raid tier, for the most part, between cheat death and feint and our raid cooldowns, rogues have a really easy time so long as you're smart. Like so long as you're willing to like kind of just pay a little bit more attention to mechanics to understand like the things that you can avoid so that you can get maybe more uptime on bosses, or just make sure that your raid leader's not yelling at you so you don't die. That's rogue excels at that in this raid tier, and it honestly feels really nice and extremely rewarding for that capacity. Even the last boss in MSV I felt was like a very rewarding melee fight, despite it being kind of stacked against melee in terms of mechanics and everything, especially for rogues if you're soaking. Our toolkit is really good for this raid tier. What about you, Anhak? How do you feel?
Well, my only complaint as it stands right now about Rogue, because we're all gonna sit here and praise it, right? So my only complaint, because I want to play a little bit devil's advocate, is I wish they would fix nitro boots so we can use it with sprint.
Yeah, I agree. That's actually true. Yeah, I
'Cause
do.
we could soak so much more stuff with
Yeah.
cloak if we could use them both.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yeah, well, and it's like there's stacking speed buffs now, right? Like, why can't we stack
that was
those
a thing
two?
in MoP.
Yeah, that was.
Like, you can go back and look at VODs and stuff of people doing it back in MoP. I'm not sure why some mechanics aren't stacking with it, and
Yeah,
others are.
yeah, and it's just we specifically get owned with sprint. Yeah, that's not a good feeling at all. No, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that.
I mean, it's probably just to do with the way that Classic has to get made. I forget what expansion it was. It may have been Legion. I always just guess Legion because that's just an easy time where everything in the game got changed.
Yeah.
But eventually they make it to where there's two categories: permanent and temporary.
Yeah.
And you only get the maximum effect that you have of either. So like boot enchant is permanent and sprint would be temporary. But then if you rocket booted, it's like sprint might still be there, but the rocket
But you're
boot
getting
would
the
take
highest
precedence.
modifier. Yeah, you're getting the highest modifier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then like in MoP where like some of that is true, but then there's other ones where it's not. So I think it's just a bit of a hodgepodge, and they might need to look specifically at what it should be in MoP.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I believe it should be that like right now everything stacks and it's kind of insane.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, like you'll even see it, right? Sprint is stacking with like when you do Temple and you're leaving the first boss or the second boss, you get the speed buffs, right? And it's like, man, this would be really cool if I could just I don't know, maybe get this on all different areas of the game rather than just in this one dungeon where sprint actually stacks with another speed boost, because that feels great. That feels super great.
One that stacks, but it won't let you activate boots if you don't press it beforehand, is Stampeding Roar.
Right.
So if your druid presses Stampeding Roar before you rocket boots, you can't press rocket boots.
Right.
But if you press rocket boots, then they press Stampeding Roar, you're running away.
Yeah, you're zooming. Yeah, it's super dorky. Yeah, the application change is silly there. How about you, Apoc? What are your opinions?
MSV, I think Rogue's going to be really strong. There's even 2 fights in there for us are going to be Patchwork. I think it's going to be the second and third encounter where we're just sitting there
Fang
DPSing.
and Spiritbinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The MSV is going to feel great. We're good on almost every encounter. If you're the combat rogue and you have to kidney shot on kings, sure, your DPS might not be too high on that encounter.
Right.
But every other encounter, you're going to shine.
Right.
You're gonna do great. Heading into Heart of Fear, heading into Toes, yeah, there's gonna be some encounters where it's gonna be pretty rough. There's gonna be, especially I think the first encounter of Toes, if you're not given the stacks or whatever immediately, it's gonna feel pretty hopeless. You're gonna be pretty far down the meters.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. The first fight in Terrace sucks. That and ranged always get it before you. It sucks. It's not fun.
Similar in the first encounter in Heart of Fear, there's a part where the mob will spin around and shoot a bunch of balls everywhere.
Yeah.
And in the last phase of the encounter, you're going to be having almost 0 uptime while you watch your hunter buddies run around, eat a pizza, drink a soda, and full DPS the entire time.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty sad to watch.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you can utilize your toolkit and maybe change some talents around in the middle of the raid. Maybe go to Burst of Speed or to Shadow Step, or and you can use those to, create a bit more uptime.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be too worried for those raids. Also, combat for Toes on the final encounter, Shaw of Fear. In the phase 2 of that encounter, there's gonna be a ton of ads spawning, and you're going to be wanting to cleave the boss and kill those ads simultaneously.
Right.
To keep up with them. So combat's going to shine. Combat is going to particularly shine on Shaw of Fear.
Yeah. Always having a combat off spec, I think, is going to be good. I don't know. I was talking about. I kind of briefly mentioned this earlier, but I think in Heart of Fear, I'm pretty anti-combat, even on like Windlord.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of the like utility of Windlord is that he just takes a bunch of extra damage, right? And so it's like then single target is king. The AOE in reality is just pad, you know. So like
Other classes can cover that cleave. Exactly. You can
100%,
just
right?
blast.
Yeah, so it's just like better that you're just single targeting anyways, you know. And I think because the damage transfer isn't like very good on Garelon, I actually still don't think combat is better. If we're talking about in terms of like what we think the best numbers are going to be for those fights. Maybe I'm wrong about Garelon. I could be wrong about Garelon, but we'd kind of theorized that we think that like Assassination is going to be the best spec on that fight because Garelon's legs have a lot of directional issues. So if you're not facing the backside of the leg, which the legs make really big steps around the room, you'll lose uptime as subtlety, and it doesn't feel good. The only problem with playing Assassination on that fight is that, like, well, legs are probably not going to last long enough for you to use a whole Vendetta on. So, it's a dicey pick there. Maybe combat will end up being the best. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I definitely did play combat for a little bit when Subtlety and Assassination hadn't gotten their buffs, and I was definitely cranking. Even with the cleave, it really depends on like your raid. If your raid doesn't have range touching those legs at all, combat might be the move, because then you'll just get free cleave for the entire fight, and no one can really complain about that. That's a ton of extra damage, and that damage on that boss does matter outside of the legs dying. So,
one thing on the legs, and this is kind of going back to the Elegon issue. If Mark for Death gets reset, it's a huge Mark for Death value from Assassination.
Sure, 100%. Yeah,
Yep.
That's fair. Yeah. So Assassination will get some pretty big openers on legs and be able to sustain a lot of burst that way as well. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
I mean, even as combat, like that would be a bunch of cooldown reduction as well.
Yeah, 100%. That would be very good cooldown reduction. Yeah, I guess
I'm pretty confident combat is going to top that fight. The concern though is you need to have the wherewithal of disabling Blade Flurry before you hit Killing Spree.
Yep.
If you have Blade Flurry on and you press Killing Spree, you're going to jump to the middle of the boss and kill the raid.
Yep. And the other thing, or yourself, if you accidentally Killing Spree and then the leg moves off the map, you're gone. You're gone with the wind. So.
Well, that's when you run the minor glyph.
Yeah, true. Oh, teleport back to the spot that you were at. Sure. Yeah, that's true. And then you teleport under the boss.
There's a slight brief period of time right before, I think it's either right before his crush is triggered, where you can actually go right under him, and you won't trigger an additional crush because he won't do crushes back to back.
Oh, interesting.
So, with Blade Flurry up, you can finagle it. Don't recommend it.
Yeah, sounds sketchy.
Listen to Backstabbi here.
Yeah.
Don't finagle with it, especially not on Prague. But,
no, I remember we were on beta. I remember we were on beta and I was playing Subtlety on that fight and I swapped over to combat and I was like, okay, I was talking to Sheeny. I was like, all right, what don't I do on this fight? Because he was already playing combat and he goes, don't activate Blade Flurry and then Killing Spree. First pull, I immediately activated Blade Flurry and then Killing Spree and then killed the raid. And then he just cackled.
Don't hit the shoot.
And like everyone's like, they were like, all right, dude, who triggered that crush? And I was like, it was me, man. I was like, it was me. I was GCD capped, so I tried to disable Blade Flurry as I went to Killing Spree, and it just didn't deactivate. That was really cool. Love that for me. But yeah, and then I guess last, do you guys have any sick Mog outside of challenge modes that you think looks good this expansion? I'm gonna be honest, so far the gear looks like crap in my opinion.
So new ones?
New Mog.
I kind of like the tier 15 normal. It's kind of your standard black looking rogue set. But...
Yeah. I like the furry look. I'm not gonna lie. I think TOT has some pretty good swag to it, but it's just not out yet, you know.
I don't. I'm probably gonna end up rocking the challenge mode set.
Yeah.
What I'm enjoying is that because Blizzard removed a bunch of the main hand offhand restrictions, regardless if I am playing combat or our other two specs, I can now transmog to the ZG sword/daggers.
Oh yeah.
Because I have the original level 60 ZG offhand, I never got the main hand, so I couldn't do it
Okay,
in kata.
so you can match regardless.
But they removed that restriction now in MoP.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool.
That's a very cool.
Those
'cause
weapons
it's
do look
It's
great.
actually thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
They look great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
one funny thing about that removal, and I don't know because we're in Classic, if I haven't checked this. Some fist weapons you can put them in the other hand, but they still appear in the same model, looking the wrong direction.
Oh, I would transmog that in an
Mhm.
instant. I would transmog that in an instant just for the meme. Okay.
Here,
All right.
I'm going to check that now. I am fairly certain. Oh wait, do I have my non-daggers on me? I do. I'm fairly certain cataclysms or spinny blade Nax. That
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
yeah.
that does it.
It does
so it
it.
just clips into your model.
Yes, dude. Okay, that's so awesome. Okay, that's great. Yeah, still no Warglaves transmog, dude. What is Blizzard doing? It's so annoying. That's so annoying. And you can do Thunder Fury, just still no Warglaves. They really hate us. They really hate rogues. They don't want you to look cool at any
No
time.
Warglaves is
Yeah.
such a shame. I only have one Warglaive so far, but I'd love to. And I also only have one binding. I've been struggling in that department.
They should make Warglaves transmoggable and then do the exact same glitch with it showing up in the wrong hand. That way the like plate on your hand or whatever isn't there. That would be really funny.
Okay, womp womp. They fixed Calamity's Grasp.
Oh damn. Okay.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I knew in a
wow.
later X-Back it was fixed, so I didn't know if that was
Okay.
a thing that we got here or with it being Classic, if that's one of the things that ends up getting fixed.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
They haven't fixed all of them. I'll tell you that they haven't fixed all of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Fixed, but some of them are. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, I think that's pretty
I'll
much
send this
it.
one.
Do you guys think that there was anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we wrap this up? All right.
Sounds.
Also, we want to talk about legendary daggers and what may or may not happen.
Yeah,
That sounds like such a headache, honestly. I think I'll.
There's also other implications, like even if they do fix it, don't throw out your shot touch weapons.
Yep.
At least keep the one that has the gem in it, because that's going to have more attack power, which is it'll be better for any sort of Fan and Knives, Crimson Tempest spam.
Yep.
'Cause all you care about is attack power. It's a very strange situation.
Yeah.
I need to run through sims for it. I would not be surprised if in Throne of Thunder, Assassination prefers to keep a shot touch weapon with the gem in the offhand.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
of how much of its damage scales purely off attack power.
Yeah. Yeah.
That may be the play. I would not be surprised.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. Okay, well, boys, this was a lot of fun. Hopefully, we can get a Warstree in here next time, since we probably won't be doing a race to world first thing going on then. But with that being said, I thank you guys for coming on. In terms of your guys', do you guys have any socials that you guys want to link, or are we kind of just calling it here? Yeah, we're calling it here. Okay. Yeah, these boys these boys live private lives, unlike me and Simon Eyes. So they're not nearly as interested in listening to you guys bug them in their DMs. Okay. With that being said, we're gonna go back to playing WoW. So I'm gonna hang up now. But I appreciate you guys. We'll probably do this again sometime, maybe post launch of the raid if you guys want to, and then maybe talk about some stuff that maybe looking forward to TOT and. Talking like, how correct and wrong we were about a bunch of different stuff. So
Absolutely.
Cool.
This is good.
I do have one non-WoW thing to talk
okay.
about.
Yeah.
Is that I care about it deeply. For anyone who used to enjoy our 5-fret video games, the Guitar Hero and the Rock Band, they are bringing back licensed controllers.
Oh, hell
if you
yeah.
go to crkd.gg, cracked.gg, they are selling licensed Gibson Les Paul controllers.
That's pretty dope.
This is
Pretty sweet.
is such a time to be alive. We're coming back.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, boys. Well, thank you for joining me. Again, guys, if you guys wanted to find Simon, the guy who was with us earlier, his Twitch is twitch.tv/Simon Show. And then his YouTube is Simon Eyes Show, as well as Simon Eyes Show TV, I'm pretty sure. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your night, okay?